here.
Chink, 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 chink.
I think we're live.
We are live.
This was fast. There was no connection time.
Hopefully there's no delay this time too, so you guys
This
can actually
was-
watch live and not worry about a delay.
Straight up.
Yeah,
That was so fast.
yeah. And obviously the heat kicks on right when we're about to start, so yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pretty chilly morning and
Well, you hear
Yeah.
heat warming up, and to me, I close my eyes and it's a symphony getting ready.
exactly.
Well, in front of the
Banging their wands and batons and
yeah, and in
And
front
adjusting
of
tuning
in
up.
front of the lights, it feels like we're in California.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't know about
goodness
that.
for a little fake light. Absolutely, absolutely. So, good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Here we are, Tuesday Talk number 10.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Here's
Yeah.
to 10.
Cheers
so
to
on
10.
The, yeah, there you go. So yesterday
Yes.
was a day off, as they say.
For normal, I would
Yeah.
say.
Well, you know, we never really have a day off, but we do
No.
find moments on a Sunday or Monday to just sit or meditate or watch Hallmark or a Lifetime Christmas movie.
Yesterday was Sunday.
Yeah.
For us.
No, well, yes, it was supposed to be, but I made you work.
Yes.
Yeah, of
So
course.
me and Michael basically got a couple little gigs going on, and I was sent to the GM building for Estee Lauder and Clinique, and a client that comes here.
Yep.
Mary.
Yep,
Mary, yeah.
that's all we need.
Mary.
We don't give out names freely.
There we go. But she had a couple girls that she wanted to gift some special styling, and saw my stuff here and wanted me to come to the office,
And you
and it was a
showed up?
great experience.
Yay, good.
You
Holiday-
know, over
holiday
there-
party, right?
Yeah, it was a holiday party that they were having, and the
High
girl-
tech security.
Yes, they were actually really good with security. So
Yeah.
I would say that. But you know, it was kind of cool for my first experience, kind of going into a building and being checked in. You know, it kind of made me feel a little important. You know, and then everyone when I walked in greet me like a celebrity. They kept saying, "Oh, are we going to see this on TV? Are we going to see it?" You know, so
You
it's
have
really
that
cool.
look.
We don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see who's covering the Estee Lauder party.
But they gifted him because these two girls are very dedicated and passionate about their business as well, like how we are. And they started some new little Fab Fridays, kind of like our Tuesday
Oh,
talks,
wow.
Okay.
where they do it inside of their office and with the team, and they talk about new topics. Like they just did last week, they were talking about men's skincare.
Oh my goodness.
And they want to talk more about it, and I kind of was telling them, you know, with men, a lot of times the way that the product is presented to you or the way that it's distributed into your hand makes a lot of difference. Like if some guy gets a tub, she was saying like her dad doesn't like things in a tub because portion control. Guys were
Of
very
course.
heavy-handed and wanted to scoop it out, and
it's
so
hard.
you end up like
It's hard.
wasting
It's hard to
products.
control.
So she was trying to think, you know, what would be a great idea for men to use more product, and one of that is the design of the bottle. So it's really interesting
Wow.
that they do stuff like that. So
Oh, I wonder if maybe somewhere down the road they can be our guest.
I hope so. They
Right?
are on
That
my
would be fun.
Instagram, so if you guys are watching,
Yay.
Ava, we would love to have you guys come down and talk about that. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
Tuesday Talk, 11
Yeah.
to 11:30.
So-
That's good. That's
So it was
a-
really exciting to just talk about that, even with just doing the hair. You know, we went into more depth. So.
Yeah.
And Central
there
Park
was-
from the 35th floor.
Oh well, yeah. Well, where we were at was right across
Terrible
from
view.
Bergdorf. Yeah, I know it was horrible. It was right next to Bergdorf Goodman off of 5th Avenue and 58th.
Uh-huh.
So you got when you went to 37th floor, this huge view of the fall trees
Oh, beautiful.
of Central
Of
Park.
Central Park. Did you
Where
see
I
me run?
That's what I was about to say. I knew you were running in there. I was trying to look, but it's a little too high.
Okay. all right.
That's right.
Next time.
Yesterday you got to get in a little bit of a run.
That's
That was
right,
your
yeah.
time off before you came in.
I was
and
looking
you
for the
dealt
sun.
with a young lady here at our studio that was here for a bit of a shoot.
Shoot for Sunbum.
Sunbum, it's a sunblock company.
I wasn't aware of it,
Yeah.
but apparently also big, right? Big.
It's huge, especially on the West Coast
On the
in
West
LA.
Coast, yes.
I use Sunbun myself too.
Okay.
It's a great product, basically because it doesn't leave it like really greasy, and it's really good for sun protection. It's a little more organic compared to a lot of companies out there. But I was very surprised to hear that they were coming to New York.
Yeah.
Well, the reason being because the company wants to bring it to the urban area, city people. So city people, just like for skin.
There is sun here too, sometimes.
Because it was also about a sunscreen for hair.
Oh.
And so there was a subway scene that was about to be shot, and brought in somebody from the West Coast, and of course the hair needs to look amazingly beachy.
Yeah, and you prepped her, which goes back to the running thing, because I wonder, all those runners, when we're running in the park on Sundays and Mondays, I know there are those that get it and use protection, and others who don't, and the ears and the nose and the shoulders,
just because
things that we don't think of when we're out there. And then when you're sweating on top of that, I think it's important to take care of your skin, because anything can happen. It still happens, people.
Yeah, with me, when I first came here too, I didn't think of it as much as I do out there, because out there you're in the sun and in the beach areas.
Yeah.
So when you're here, I'm like, oh, well, there's some shade. The buildings will cover it, but.
Well, it's kind of like when we went to Costa Rica on our honeymoon in 1998, and then went back in 1999, and then went back in 2000, whatever, a couple times. But when we first went, people said, "Oh, you're choosing to go in right before high season, but it's going to be rainy season still." So we were told to go then because it was after hurricane season. So we hit after hurricane season typically, and before high season, which was great for a hairdresser.
You can enjoy it.
Because we were working for someone else, and we didn't want to take away from that company's business as well as Michael's business, and it was a quiet week. So we actually went over the cusp of his birthday and Thanksgiving.
Nice.
So that was a good time to go, but it was gray and it rained a lot. But boy, when that sun came out, it was short but warm, and even when it was cloudy and overcast all day, people warned us, wear 50.
Yeah.
50 SPF, and I was like, oh, what are you talking about? So myself, I'm not a swimmer, I'm a little bit afraid of water, but he coaxed me in. It was like, a horse to a carrot. He was giving me just like a little teaser, and he made me feel secure in the pool. And I kid you not, that first year, my face peeled 5 times.
Oh, wow.
And it peeled about an inch, a little over an inch into my hairline. And the hair in the front is so thin compared to everywhere else, where I've got a lot, enough for 10 people. But it's very thin and fine in the front. And I'm wondering if one thing has something to do with the other, because otherwise it was a bizarre coincidence that started happening at that time.
It was surprising for an Italian to get sunburned like that. But
on a cloudy day when you're sitting on the equator.
Yeah, that's how strong the sun was. So if you see an ad or if Sunbum, somebody in a subway in New York City
could have been your
subway,
work.
That's what happened yesterday.
That's right. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So along with, can we transition here? Into
that's what I'm about to do.
Oh.
You're transitioning
Coming into, because
from transit
transit, yes.
to transitioning.
Because of course, with us working yesterday, what do we need? We need the right tools to do the job, right?
Yes, I asked you 10 times if you had everything you needed for your on-call, on-site work yesterday.
Yeah, so our big topic that we want to speak about is getting the right tools to do the job efficiently and not working harder, working smarter, right?
Oh yeah, it's hair tools can make or break the result, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, once you work with a great tool, very difficult to go back to a tool that doesn't work so great.
Yeah.
So of course you don't know that until you actually do that, right?
Can we speak briefly on that? What you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Because for the longest time, you were working with shears for a right-handed person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interesting topic.
Tell me that.
So I'm left-handed, and when I started working with hair, there was no. I don't even know if there were any left-handed shears, but nobody talked about them at least. So of course I worked with the wrong tool from the beginning. I didn't know that how much of a difference that would be. Again, because unless you work with the right tool, you wouldn't know how bad it was before or how insufficient. And so at some point, I guess more brands introduced more models for lefties, and which one of them I really liked, Casio. And so I was like, okay, let me just try, see if it makes a difference or not. The shears were delivered, and I was taking them for a test drive. First haircut, there was
didn't move.
It was like the angels were singing to me, and it was like, what's happening here? It's like I started to work as a hairdresser all over again, or started to cut hair all over again. It was just amazing. So anybody who's out there who's left-handed, who works with a right-hand scissor, stop what you're doing, run to the store, or order online. Don't cut any hair until you get your new shears. That's
It's funny that
amazing.
you say that, because I mean,
The
one of my bigger mentors that one of my best friends who pushed me into going into hair, he was a left-handed person too, and that's the big thing he was telling me. He would teach me left-handed, but I'm right-handed, so I would have to think mirrored vision whenever he would teach me. But it still, because since I knew I could do it right, but he was taught by a right-handed person too, and he said the same exact thing. Once he got into the left-handed shears, it was a miracle.
It is very important, and we are special left-handed people. So we do.
Hey, it's a sign of intelligence, though. Usually, it's more of a
Okay.
creative thing. So that's a good thing that you're
Hot
left-handed.
flash.
Oh, wow.
Excuse Mom, I'm just having a hot flash meltdown.
Here, let
me
I'm so
hold that.
sorry, people,
We don't
but
need
I've
to
got
move
to get rid of the sweater. This is the way we do it here.
Layer.
Okay.
Yeah, that was wow.
Very
That's-
dramatic,
it's
don't you
getting-
think?
It's getting hot in here.
It's getting very hot in here. But a quick story.
Okay,
A
sure.
quick story.
Squeeze it in.
Another my sister's story. So when any hairdresser goes home, y'all know what I'm talking about. You have to pack what you need to do the family members, right?
Of course.
So we were home, and I forget, maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, we had our own studio, and we've had it over 18 years. So it was while we were owners, right? We had gone home, and Michael was cutting my sister's hair. And I had kicked a ball, and my sister-in-law said, are you right-handed or left-handed? I said, right. And my sister at the same time said left while she was getting her hair cut. I said, excuse me? And I looked at my sister-in-law, I said, excuse me? And she said, my left-handed kids kick with that foot. Right here, sitting here, I don't know what I naturally did. And my sister, I looked at my sister and I said, now what did you say? And she said, you were born left-handed. They just made you sit on your hand at dinner because it was a sign of the devil.
Oh. Is
So-
that like an old Italian kind of wives' tale?
That's the old world
Yes.
view on being left.
Yes. So many funny stories of my family, but gotta love them. Kind of like when my mother didn't talk to me for 4 weeks, and we talk every day because she saw a photo of me with henna on my hands. And she said that only happens in prison where we come from.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Misunderstood, right?
It's just
from
old
the-
school.
from
So
the
yes,
beginning.
old school. So now we're going off into many tangents because I can talk about stories in my family just like we all can. Perhaps we should do it one time, like
Yes.
over a bonfire in the summertime.
I think so. Have little s'mores.
Going
whatever.
from spring into summer, that's right. But let's get
with
back
tools.
to tools.
Well, with me, like yesterday, going and doing the girls' hair, of course, I don't have a sink to wash their hair. So I couldn't really do like a full blowout per se, and they had curlier, more frizzier, coarser type texture. So with that, you have to think, okay, well, what kind of tool can really perform that, where I can maybe smooth it out but still have some curl. And I didn't want to like flat iron and then curl, because sometimes when you're doing that too, you're training the hair to go straight, and then how are you going to go back into a curl? It's going to lose its...
The elasticity of
It's
the hair, you
overworking
can
the hair.
overwork it, so you have to be smart.
So, I mean, there was a great, Wella came by a couple months ago, and gave us our GHD platinum flat iron, and I took that with me, and it's really cool because the plates, certain areas will heat up and the other ones will cool down depending on the hair. So it's like a smart technology with the heat. You don't set the adjustments, and it only, I forget how high it goes, 375, something like that, but it's below the level that hair will burn.
Which is the perfect temperature to transform hair.
Exactly, and the tectonic plates that are on there too are very, they don't snag. And while I was doing her hair, she was even noticing, she's like, are you using a flat iron? And kind of looked, and she's like, usually I feel my hair being pulled or ripped out or, you know, whatnot. And especially I told her, you know, and we haven't even washed it or brushed it out. And this is me kind of like trying to get some of the tangles out as much as I can. And with doing that, it just came out super smooth and easy, and it flowed nice, and it didn't snag and break her hair.
So it's a good point to...
It was efficient too.
It's shockingly effortless, that iron, because you feel like you're not even doing anything.
Right, but really quick, just like with products, when you buy something, you have to make sure it's not the knockoff. We know this, ladies, with our handbags, right?
Yeah, even...
So you have to make sure, which is what we want to get into here. Just like we let the product thing go because we won, right? We won a little victory there. But just like with products, trying to buy from places where they're legit and make sure that you have the legitimate tool. Just because it says GHD, is it?
Yeah, if you're ordering on Amazon, a lot of times, like the chi irons, I know a lot of people
have some challenges
have
with fake irons,
Yeah,
so,
which is important when it comes to that heating element. Because again, you want to buy a tool that you want to receive a tool that you believe you're buying. And if you believe you're buying a professional tool, then they will stand behind what it does with your hair.
Correct.
So it will cool properly, heat properly, whether it's a blow dryer, a crimping iron, a flat iron, a curling iron, whatever iron or tool that you're working with, if it's an electric tool, right? Those are important as well, but you wanted to get into the fact that there is no place like home. No, there is no place to buy them for the professionals if you are a licensed professional.
So they are and they aren't.
Like here in New York, you know, that's where I've seen. Well, I mean, your example in New York, what were your examples that you were?
Well, for example, if we work with Wella, and Wella partners up with different companies at times. Right now, they partnered with GHD. In the past, they partnered with Tondeo. Great clippers, amazing clippers. Since they lost that partnership or discontinued it, very difficult to get those Tondeo clippers, which I'm heartbroken because, again, once you have a tool that works amazingly, it's very difficult to go back using anything else. So anybody out there, any distributors who want to
anyone from Tondeo
continue bringing Tondeo clippers to the US again, that would be great. So Wella did that with Tondeo, now with GHD, and that gives us access to GHD products, tools. But I wish that it would be more consistent, it would be more broad, because if a manufacturer now sells a tool directly, that's great, because then the chances that it's the real product is pretty high.
Yeah, that's a little more high. Get rid of the middlemen.
Right? But what happens is that we as hairdressers, we go through that side as well then, paying the same price. I don't think within the industry that should be acceptable.
Right.
Because we are the ones who are highlighting the tool, talking about it, promoting, and then having ultimately the client look for it and buy it also, which if the manufacturer directly sells it, that's great. If not, that's a problem, because right now you go on our shop site, and on the bottom of the page you will find suggestions of tools that we use that you can buy online. Unfortunately, we only have sources on Amazon right now, which we are hoping that it's
the gamble.
It's the legitimate tool, not last.
Well, that's why we're not selling it.
Yeah, not
but
like-
people ask
yeah.
us all the time.
But
So again, this should be easier. When people ask, where do you get those clips? They didn't pull my hair. Where did you get that brush? It didn't pull my hair. Where did you get the flat iron? It didn't pull my hair. And we have no resources for those tools.
Right. I wish we would have a direct link. This is the tool we're using, and you can buy it here, and just like connecting with the products, also connecting the clients to the tools that they need.
Right.
So that's why, I mean, like with me, myself, when I first came here compared to when living in Los Angeles, I mean, we have like, Castle Prof, which is, I mean, there's one here, but it's far to get to.
Outside of the city,
And here in New York, a lot of people don't drive, so if you're taking transit to get somewhere, it's a little harder to get the tool in person. So we end up going more towards online selling and buying and stuff like that, because it's more about the convenience and we can get the product. But then with that, of course, we're not sure what we're getting.
Exactly.
So that's the difference I see here. I mean, there are a few places which Michael introduced me to that was in Chelsea, where they sell the YS Park brushes.
Sheer World.
And Sheer World.
Yes. Amazing place for YS
Super
Park
reputable.
products.
Now, are they only for professionals, you guys?
It is
I know all of you
only
guys have
it
gone.
is only for professionals at
Okay,
that, but I'm
so-
sure he can work something.
On the sur-
No, you're not sure. We are live, and we are here to tell
Well,
people how it is. So maybe if you're nice, I don't know.
On the surface, I think you would have to know about it because it's within a building, of course. You have to get a referral.
Like us.
Right,
We're hidden as
but
well.
we send our clients there for a brush, and I believe there were purchases made there by clients. But again, it's just not the best way
you don't know
to go about it.
to promote about it exactly, and the accessibility.
Yeah,
I would say
exactly.
But
YS Park. Let's just go back for a minute to the YS Park.
YS Park.
YS Park, Japanese tools, brushes, combs. And I just remember this story, Naoko, one of our stylists from Japan, and I think she introduced us to that, to those products, to the tools. So she was using the YS Park brushes, and so I was always amazed when the clients were finished, and I look at their hair, I was like, how did you do it, Naoko? Your client had fine, super straight hair, and half an hour later, the client leaves with bouncy, voluminous, wavy. I mean, it's like, how do you do? You're a magician. What's going on? I try to do the same, and it's just not working out. Until I used the YS Park brush, and again, the angels sang for me what that brush can do. Most other brushes, I haven't found another brush that can do that. So, just for the brushes, that is a great.
Now, what's the feedback that
Brand.
I'm gonna just excuse my bag. What is the feedback that you've gotten from clients that maybe you've referred to tools? Are they having an okay experience? And the reason I ask is because it is different when you are working on someone and you're also a professional who's been doing this for most of your life, right? As opposed to us going home and picking up the brush, and I know everyone, even stylists, when they're working, you always say start on your weak side, because when you get to your other side, you'll have the strength for it. If you save your weak side till the end, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose it.
Also say start with the
So when you're doing your own hair as a non-professional, right? So you may have the right tool, but regardless if it's a decent tool or the wrong tool or a great tool, do you think still working with a great tool will give someone the ability to make their hair better than with a poo-poo tool from a drugstore?
The tool does make a big difference, but yes, it is also the method to the madness.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to.
Well, we always guide.
That's why we guide. I usually,
clients.
whenever I'm blowing out someone, it's a new client in there, and of course, I want to educate them on how to keep the style up.
Yeah, I know we've had a few people come in and say, come in if you can't do the style yourself.
So you do have to, there are certain ways that you do have to do it to make it work.
Technique matters.
Technique does matter.
But the quality of the tool is very important, because even with the greatest technique, you can hurt your hair if the quality is subpar. If it heats up too much, if the material is just too harsh when it comes to the brushes. What one brush can do even with the same technique versus another one, it's that you can't put it in comparison.
I've got to tell you
Yeah,
that being a non-professional and dealing with that nozzle on those blow dryers, not easy as a real girl.
No, I
Working
bet.
on
You're mostly probably.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I think for at home sometimes you have to step away and say, well, this is a great blow dryer, for example, for me to use, but for you, not working with two tools at the same time on yourself is difficult. So that's why they have these blow dry brushes, like one tool, like two tools in one.
Yeah.
And if that works for you, you get the same results, similar results, you're happy with that. Again, it has to work for you.
Exactly.
But again, check the temperature on those, and don't use more than you have to, and use a heat protectant.
Yes.
We've got a great one from Kevin Murphy here that I love.
Always heat protected, but also if it doesn't feel good, it's probably not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Change your routine. Change it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But also like for us, going back to how we work as stylists with a tool, going to the basics of combs and brushes too. But I saw the other day, I think I shared it with you, Joseph, the Denman brush.
Oh yeah, we were looking at that a few weeks.
Which is interesting because the Denman brush is around for a long time. It's a classic tool. It's great. And then I saw it
doing with like wrap drying
on Instagram, for wrap drying. But then I saw it on Instagram being reintroduced as the brush
for texture
to use for curly hair people.
Highly textured too, which I saw.
Highly textured. So you have curly hair. You take a curl product, you put it in your hair, and then you brush it with the Denman brush. And apparently, that's the brush to get the most defined curls ever. I don't know about that because I think
rubber. With curly hair yourself, would you? If you have finer, and it's gonna break. Sometimes that rubber on that brush can snag on your hair
or not. Maybe it's
not.
a great brush, but are they the only ones?
Are they the only brush? Exactly.
It was just funny to me that this brush now is being highlighted as doing that. I mean, there are a lot of other brushes that probably would do exactly the same. Don't throw them out and get the Denman brush. So it's like trying to reinvent the wheel. Now, I do appreciate that a new audience is brought, introduced to the Denman brush. So
and it's a good product, but that's not the only thing I'm sure that
exactly.
It can do.
That's what I feel. It's like they're only
it's just a
focusing on
marketing
that now.
tool to bring another category of people into them, right?
If it results in less frizzy, curly people, great.
I'm not sure if you'll use it on your own hair though, right?
Or do what this guy does. So he shampoos and conditions, and then he, in the winter, puts a little man bun, and then you get to work and you spray it down, and you put in, what are your favorite Kevin Murphy products?
I'm being watched.
You come in and you use what?
Oh, I watch you every morning too while you do your hair.
Oh, okay. So Motion Lotion, that's my weapon of choice. Kevin Murphy, it's a great product for my hair. Keeps the frizz
and they
out.
have a killer curls, but you like the Motion Lotion on what hair?
There is a killer curls, sometimes I cocktail, of course, we can cocktail.
Like when it's more humid or dry.
Little extra hold. So Killer Curls is another great option for curly hair. But Motion Lotion, I love that product.
But the biggest thing,
then he leaves it.
You don't use any tools though, you use your fingers, right?
So no brush needed. Why? Because we have an amazing treatment by Milbon.
Right.
H1 treatment, in-house treatment, the best so far.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a smart protein complex that's internal, it's not external like
once you have that product, that treatment done on your hair, you don't need a tool. Your hands just go straight through. See, just now.
I'm surprised you're doing that. Because the key is maintain regular treatments, use proper product, and then you say, don't touch it till it's dry.
Don't, place it, leave it alone. I know it's hard sometimes, but you leave it alone, and then when it's pretty much dry, then you can break it up, and then you have great coats.
Right.
You should.
So I think we've covered a lot, kind of like the same with our products, right? We would like to see professional stylists be able to access tools at decent pricing. So therefore, we have them, and we're using appropriate products in-house.
Industry pricing for stylists, yes.
And have them be accessible from the manufacturers, whether that has to go through distribution or what have you, or just kind of like products, but so that we can legitimize the tool as well as how it's being bought, so you don't have to go to these big guys again online and go blindly accepting that if it says Chi or GHD, that's what it is.
Bypass Amazon and eBay.
Right. I mean, it's great. It's great for certain things. If you can't find it anywhere else and can't find it in a mom and pop shop, which we're always talking to support.
Local.
But we are at 11:31 and we do have to open the door. So I'm going to do my what's my hold on one second.
You film?
Oh, my public.
Oh, your PIF.
My PIF. Public information film.
Yeah.
Okay.
PIF. That's what
information
That's what they
film.
call it in England.
So here's my public information film.
PSA for us in the US.
I like
Yesterday,
PIF.
I did something that I did not do last year and the year before, but I did do every other year since my early 20s because I'm asthmatic. I went and I got my flu shot. So I encourage all of you to go out who can and who don't mind. I'm just reminding you, if you're planning on going, please go. And gosh, I'm going to try not to choke up, but this year, I did not get the shot last year or the year before, as I previously mentioned. May 19th of this year, I think that was the Saturday of the Prince wedding. Friday night, I went home, I went to bed, I got up, I looked at Michael sitting on the couch. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I looked at him and I fell down. And it surprised me and it surprised him, and he thought I was sleeping. But what was happening was my entire system, something was shutting me down. So I made a call to one of the neighborhood clinics because that's all I had. I don't have great insurance, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get myself anywhere. So I had to just go and deal with money later. So I walked myself hanging on to buildings for 3 blocks, and I walked into a clinic, and they did a flu test that they said is not 100%, and that ultimately I ended up having an old strain.
Old strain, yeah.
And they put me on some medicine, and within 24 hours, I felt like I was not dying. But when I had first gone home, I found out when you're ill, you do things that you can't really remember. Mm-hmm. And I went home, and it was the first day in all of our years that my staff had to work without anyone manning the phones, because I am the receptionist here full time. And I guess I wrote a text telling them that I was scared, and one of them, a couple days later, had said, "Wow, Ma, you really scared me because you said that you were scared." And I said, "I did." And then I went back and I looked at the text, and he said, "Yeah, you don't talk like that. You make all of us, you pick all of us up." And so I realized, wow, I thought I was a goner. So 3 days later, I couldn't walk. And I went to a doctor again. I went back to the clinic again. I went to an ENT, where my hearing is perfect because of that musical theater training. But my balance nerve was apparently attacked with the virus. So I was informed at that doctor's meeting that some people get the flu, stay in bed, are fine. Other people who have other issues, like myself, who have asthma or other lung breathing issues, pass away because of a flu virus. And then there's loads of us, like what I experienced, where the virus attacks something else in your body. It is not fun. And I know this isn't what you want to hear, but I needed to tell you the whole story because I'm still dealing with that issue of balance. And someone who does musical theater, who's always worked out, to have to come to almost a screeching halt on what I can do. If anything upsets me or stirs me in any way, it comes right back where I can't walk, kind of locks down the side of my body. So please, if you are not fearful, if you always do get one and you haven't gotten around to it yet, please, please go. And again, I got the flu on May 19th of this year. So I went yesterday, and hopefully I will be better and better with whatever's still bringing me.
Well, you came a long way.
Rocking ship motions.
And it was scary. And yeah, I had no idea that a flu can even, can even make that, like, can affect you in that way.
Right.
So long term.
You're going to be traveling on planes, trains, automobiles, buses for holidays.
Do it.
Stay healthy. Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back next week. More updates.
Yeah, more updates.
We'll be putting something out there.
Yeah.
I feel asking questions on what next topic for next week, so stay tuned on that.
Now we have to do some hair.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome. Have a great week.
I'll see
Have
ya.
a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.